All right, welcome to 9.4 worksheet. We're doing some linear quadratic systems algebraically. We got some notes to put in here, so we'll do that in a second. So if I'm going to pause and just copy down number 5 and just remember our checklist we'll reference. But, Guy, if you paused, I'm waiting. All right, I don't know why I'm waiting. But anyways, what I want you to do next is scroll down to number 2. We're going to change the first equation here, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to change the first equation to y equals x squared minus 2x plus 12. Nope, minus 12. Okay? Otherwise, you won't be able to factor it. So, all right. So we'll come back to that question, but I want to make sure you see that we're changing the equation here. Otherwise, we won't get something that can factor. All right. So going back up, take a look at number 1. All right. Now, when we're solving a linear quadratic system, there's essentially 5 steps. Step number 1, we want to make sure we get both equations written as y equals. So if you have one that's out of order, solve it for y first. Okay. Step number 2, we are going to plug both equations and actually just set them equal to each other. So what I'm essentially doing is taking the mx plus b and plugging it in for y in the quadratic equation and getting this equation, mx plus b equals ax squared plus bx plus c. It just makes things a little bit easier. Okay. Second step after we get set for y and set them equal. Okay, or that's number 2. 3, we're going to get everything on one side. Remember, when we get everything on one side, we want to make sure the x squared term, okay, is positive. We mentioned this before. I'm not going to be able to factor. I'm talking and typing and writing this out and ending up with a mess. Okay. When you try to factor with a negative x squared, it gets a little complicated. It's a lot easier to keep things simple. So let's get the x squared just positive. For number 4, we're going to solve it. Remember, using the x after we factor. Okay, using the zero product property, so set every factor equal to 0. Okay, and the last step, we have to make sure we take our answers from step 4. We need to plug them back. We need to do some back substitution into one of the other 2 equations. Okay, to find y. And then the important point is we have to state our points to actually find the solution. Okay, so here we go. Questions 1 to 3. So step 1, y equals, already done. 2, put them equal to each other. So x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals negative 2x plus 6. And then what I'm going to do is get everything on one side. So the x squared term on the left is positive. We want to move all that stuff over here. So I'm going to add the 2x to both sides. So I get x squared minus 3x. And I'm also going to move the 6 over in the same step here. So 6 minus 6 is actually 0. That just drops out. Okay, and then we run through our checklist. So is there a GCF? Here there is, so we'll take that out first. So it's x and then x minus 3. We're going to ask ourselves if we can still factor the x minus 3, which answer is no. So we know we're factored completely. And then we're going to go ahead and solve from there. So we know if there's zero product property, we set x equal to 0. That's one of our possible solutions. So either x is 0 or x minus 3 is 0. Okay. So here's one solution, x is equal to 0. The other solution we have is that if x minus 3 equals 0, the x would have to be 3 in order to turn x minus 3 equal to 0. All right, I'm just going to rewrite this so that it doesn't look like a negative 3, just in case. Okay, now that we have the values for x, we also need to get y. So I'm going to pick from the 2 equations, the quadratic and the linear, which one's easier here. Hopefully you selected the linear, and we're going to substitute 0 and 3 in. So what I need to see from you guys is that you're actually showing me the substitution step. So here I'm plugging in 0, and then I'm giving you my answer, which is y is equal to 6, right? Then I'm going to plug in 3, so negative 2 times 3 plus 6, and you can either tell me your answer, right? Here it's 0, or you're going to show me your work along the way, which is at negative 6 plus 6, and that's what turns into the 0. And then the last step is to state my solutions. So the first one is the point when I get x is 0, y is 6, right? And the other solution is when x is 3, comma, y is 0. Okay, and there are my two solutions to those equations. All right, for number 2, remember we switched from negative x squared to positive x squared, kept the negative 2x, we changed the positive 12 to negative 12. So step 2, set them equal to each other. Okay, so I got x squared minus 2x minus 12 equal to negative 2x plus 4. Remember, we got the positive x squared on the left. We're going to move the 2x over, okay, which is really going to give us 0. So we have x squared. We're going to subtract the 4. Okay, so this is now gone, and I get minus 16. So checklist. GCF, nope. Okay, 2 terms means we're doing perfect squares. So x is in the front. Square root of 16 is 4 at the back, and 1 positive and 1 negative. Then my zero product property, so x plus 4 is equal to 0, which means x is equal to negative 4, or the other solution, x minus 4 is equal to 0, so x is equal to 4. Okay, so now what we have to do is take these two answers and plug them into one of the two equations. We'll use, once again, our linear. So negative 2 times negative 4 plus 4. And you can either tell me your answer or show it, right? This is equal to 8 plus 4, which is just equal to 12, right? Second option, negative 2 times 4, positive 4 this time, plus 4, which is negative 8 plus 4. So y is equal to negative 4 here. And then we state our two solutions. So if you want to put a set notation, you can. Doesn't hurt anything, but really you just need the points. So when x is, look at what we plugged in, negative 4, our solution was 12 for y. And when our answer for x was 4, y was negative 4. And there are 2 points. Okay. If you wanted to, you could always go ahead and graph your equation and then go, remember, check the table or do a quick intersection and check it that way as well. Okay. All right, number 3, same deal here. So set them equal to each other. We already have y equals here. So it's going to be quantity x plus 3 squared minus 4 is equal to 2x plus 5. So what I'm going to do is step over on the side and remember that I need to do x plus 3 times x plus 3 when it's quantity squared. It's not equal to x squared plus 9, guys. Okay, there's a middle term. Then I just do my Miss Yostros's favorite rainbow, and we get x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9, which gives us x squared plus 6x plus 9. And now I'm going to bring this back into my equation and rewrite it as x squared plus 6x plus 9 minus 4, and that's 2x plus 5. Okay, so this really turns into x squared plus 6x plus 5 is equal to 2x plus 5. So subtract the 5's, which is going to make that go to 0. Move the 2x over, which gives us 4x, and then we solve. So x squared, here we're going to get plus 4x, and then equal to 0. So once again, first thing is a GCF. Get x times x plus 4 equals 0. And then we have our zero product property. So set each equal to 0, and then solve for x. Then we do our back substitution. So y is equal to 2 times 0 plus 5. So this means y is going to equal 5. And if you plug negative 4 in, 2 times negative 4 plus 5 is equal to negative 8 plus 5. So y is equal to negative 3. So remember, when we plug 0 in, we get 5. So our first solution is the 0.05. When we plug negative 4 in, we got negative 3. And there are our two solutions. All right, just double checking. That's it for today, guys. Okay, so have a great day out there. And remember the Nearpod for the first, check the calendar. All right, so tomorrow we got 9-5, Wednesday's 9-6, And the Delta Math assignments is already up. So if you want to start working on these topics that are up here, feel free. Okay, that's going to be due on Friday. So I'll have a video for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you guys are working on this for Friday. Okay, and then we're going to start our 8th grade review, just review of those materials. All right. If you haven't heard, the 8th grade exam is actually not going to be given this year, but you still need to know these things moving forward. Okay, you're responsible for knowing those as we go along. So I'm going to make sure we cover those as we go here. Okay, so we will see you guys tomorrow.